Welcome in another video, and this month, as you could probably see in the previous videos, is a Witch House month because a month ago we released a Witch House bundle, and today's video is a big one because today we're gonna be breaking down the style of one of the most influential bands when it comes to Witch House, and this band is Salem. So Salem formed in 2006 in Michigan, and originally there were 3 people in the band. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pronounce the names correctly, but it was Jack Deno, John Holland, and Heather Marla. Sorry if I butchered the names. In this video I wanna focus purely on the sound of their music, not really on their history. There's a ton of good articles online on the history of the band. It's pretty mysterious and there's a lot of unknown things, but it's also very emotional and interesting. So if this video is interesting to you, I highly encourage you to also check out the actual band history. All I wanna say in this part of the video is that they are probably one of the most influential bands when it comes to Witch House, and not only to Witch House, they are influential in so many different genres. One of the band members actually helped Kanye West produce a track for his album Yeezus, and probably every Witch House artist is inspired in some way by Salem. Salem's style is very distinctive and unique, and it's basically a combination of chopped and screwed hip-hop, hazy or slowed down shoegaze, dark ambient electronic music, trap drums, and Memphis rap. They rap almost in slow motion, they often use guitars, very dark and dirty synths, and pretty simple trap drums. That's like the core of their production. You could even go as far as saying that Salem basically invented the Witch House genre. They were definitely the pioneers. I'm not sure if they were the first ones to do it, but they were the pioneers and they popularized the genre. And yeah, today let's break down how Salem beats actually sound, especially as they released their album Red Dragon recently, so we're gonna make something inspired by that. And I already showed you that beat in one of the silent cookups we have on our channel, but today let's actually get more into depth and let's see how it was made. And yeah, as I already said before, this beat has been broken down in a silent cookup we have on our channel that's probably somewhere in the top here. But I wanted to explain why I use certain things and what makes them useful for Salem inspired production. So first I wanna start with this. This, as you can or cannot hear, is a chopped vocal, and basically how I made it, I took this vocal phrase from the Witch House bundle that originally sounds like this, and I basically slowed and pitched it down and also added some format stretching, and this is how it sounded then. And then I also added a Shaperbox 3 preset from the pack onto the vocal, and this is like the final version. And chopped and screwed vocals is something you can hear in pretty much every Salem song, just as the next element I want to break down, so the Reese bass. And Salem use pretty low and deep dark Reese basses. They are not as noisy as, let's say, Reese basses that Grimes use in their production, but we have both kinds of presets in our Serum Bank from the Witch House bundle. And this is how the preset was built. It's relatively simple, it's just saw waves with a little bit of noise and low pass filter. Then to the bass we also added this lead. That also plays pretty low in the frequency spectrum because we leave space for the other melodies and the vocal chops. And it's basically just a 2-note melody with another Shaperbox 3 preset from the Witch House bundle. Third melody, so the second lead, this is how it sounds. All melodies are pretty simple and they are playing very slow because Salem's production is like that. It's chopped and screwed and slow and almost like a halftime trap. But yeah, I added one more melodic element on the verses. I was listening to one of the songs from Red Dragon and kinda inspired me to make this black melody. And that's pretty much it. The melodies are very simple, but they are dark and emotional and distorted, and That's what's important in Salem's production. Now let's check out the drums, and this isn't rocket science either. We just have basic 808 drums here because that's what you can hear in almost every beat Salem make. So starting with this kick from Witch House drum kit from our bundle, I also added this 808 snare that's kinda pitched down and low passed, and I added this second snare to add some extra bounce and rhythm. Then I also added those open hi-hats to add even more rhythm for the chorus without making it too fast. And for the verses I added these closed hi-hats that sound like this. And that's basically everything I made for this beat. Let's check out the mixer now, and then I'm gonna play you the full final project. So for mixing, as I said before, for the vocal chops and the first lead melody, I used Shaperbox presets from Witch House bundle. We have about 30 or 40 presets in there. I don't even remember now. So those elements pretty much only have the Shaperbox presets and the effects from Serum on them. On the bass, I added a little bit of Decapitator just to add some extra distortion, also compress it a little. On that first lead, I also added OTT. Put it more in the background. On the vocal phrase, as I said, only Shaperbox and a low cut. On the second lead, I added a little bit of distortion. And on the plug, I added a lot of delay, and that's pretty much it. Rest of the mix is the usual stuff, so the melody sidechain to the kick and reverb on everything. Especially in this beat, I added a lot of reverb onto everything because Salem production is kind of inspired by the old shoegaze tracks, and they have heavy reverb on everything. And that's basically it. I think it represents the Salem style pretty well, and if you want to get all these sounds and probably 1,000 sounds more in this and other Witch House styles, check out the first link in the description. Witch House bundle available. And now let's listen to the full beat, and I'll see you in the next video.